this episode of Steehn versus Machine, Week 4 in the NFL. I'm Truman Steehn of twitch.tv/Steehn Machine. I'm, of course, joined by Scott Steehn from Winners and Winers, the lead handicap over there. Scott, how are you doing?
Doing good. Yeah, now say Winners and Winers.
First try. Yeah, no, yeah, this isn't the Winners and Winers show. This is the Steehn versus Machine show. Although some weeks, in past weeks, it has felt like a Winners and Winers show, as you have been dominating me to start these first few weeks. But I did, I'm not gonna lie to you, I did gain a little bit of ground back on you this week. I'm pretty proud of myself here. I finally, if I just keep on staying consistent at 2 and 3, eventually you're bound for some 1 and 4 weeks, I guess.
Well, I think I just had it, and that was the Rams. The Rams that bullshit pass interference call.
The Rams
cost me my entire week. I think we had them at plus 158 or something like that. So that goes from our week being a half unit loss or less down to a 3+ unit loss. So
yeah. Not
good, and that just goes to show you how the one play can make a difference, and that's a 3-unit play basically right there. So,
right, and of course, Kyler Murray couldn't stop throwing interceptions for the Arizona Cardinals. And
oh, good Lord, what was wrong with him?
It was insane. He's just, he picked a terrible week to have his worst week. Of course, it's the week I bet on him. That's about how it always feels. So let's take a look. We've already started kind of talking about it, but let's take a look at our previous picks in the last weeks. I had Steelers minus 4, minus 110. That was a win. I had the Titans minus 2.5. They flubbed it 1-1 over the Minnesota Vikings. Insane. Ravens minus 3.5. Well, the Chiefs were a little better than we thought they were there.
Yeah.
Might have been keeping the playbook closed a little bit to start off the week. We discussed that on the podcast earlier, and I think earlier in the week on Tuesday I think maybe the Chiefs were just running maybe 10 to 15 plays to beat those first two teams.
Undervaluing your own team. There's nothing more shameful than that.
I know. Of course, we're both Chiefs fans, both Kansas City. I'm wearing my Chiefs jersey. I just actually got this one in the mail. It's pretty nice. I had to. I used to have a black Chiefs jersey, and it was Kareem Hunt, so I had to stop wearing it.
By the way, I can see none of your graphics. I can't see you. I see nothing else except me in the corner.
Interesting.
That's me in the corner, Truman. That's me in the spotlight.
Yeah, of course. But we.
That was just a dream. Just a dream.
Only just a dream. But all right. Okay, thanks. All right. It was all a dream. Maybe it was all a dream. All right. Of course, I had the Packers money line plus 140. That did cash there on Sunday night.
That's right.
Sunday night versus the Saints there, and then and of course, as we talked about earlier, I had the Cardinals minus 5.5, and Kyler Murray couldn't stop throwing interceptions. Of course, you had the Rams money line. We talked about that. The PI costing you late there on fourth down, right?
Yes,
fourth down. Would have ended the game, huh? The Rams getting screwed over by defensive pass interference. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Absolute bullshit call.
I think the Saints might have won this week anyways. You also had the Steelers minus 4. Congrats on that cash. What a great bet by you. Eagles minus 4.5. Not great.
No.
That Eagles team looks not great. Not good, huh? What was that? It was a tie. That was the tie of the week, right?
Yeah.
Why are ties so common all of a sudden? I think we decided to shorten overtime just because we decided ties are more exciting. I'm very confused by this.
I don't It's all about the length of the game and running into the next game or into their primetime schedule. And Americans are such morons. We have a short attention span. We need our game to be 3 minutes. We can't play 5 extra minutes overtime.
Back in my day, the more free football you got, the better. I'm
stop
confused.
with the goddamn ties. Put it at the 25. Run the college system. Put it at the 25 and go till somebody blinks. Jesus, it's not that hard. No. The NCAA has showed you how to do it for, 15 years now? 20 years they've been having the greatest tiebreaker in the world.
Might be older than
greatest overtime in the world. Well, maybe 3-on-3 in hockey is better, but
Oh, that
The
is the best.
NCAA
Sorry.
system is also good.
Hockey overtime is the best overtime because they play 5 minutes of the most exciting hockey that you're ever going to watch for the 3-on-3, and then they just go to shootouts. That's an amazing overtime system, and it takes maybe it takes less than a normal period would take. Unless you're in the playoffs, they decided that the overtime is too fun for the playoffs, so they just play normal periods, which is neither here nor there.
Right.
So again you have the Eagles. That was a tie. So you lose on that -4.5 as they did not win and certainly did not cover the 5.
No, and you're hoping there. You're hoping you've got you've got overtime. You're like, okay, well, I made a shitty pick for the first 60 minutes.
Just need a touchdown.
Maybe I can get a backdoor cover here. Maybe the Eagles will find some offense. And neither one of those teams looked like they wanted to score. Had no desire to score.
No.
They punted with a minute left.
Punted with 15 seconds left on the clock. What is that? That's the most Andy Reid disciple move I've ever seen from Doug.
Yeah, I don't understand it. That was apparently I'm not smart enough to coach NFL football, Truman. I guess I'm just going to have to admit it.
Just smart enough to bet on it, huh?
Not that game.
And you also had the Cardinals -5.5. Again, another game where you're tied there with a minute left or 2 minutes left. They got the ball at the 50. Kyler Murray's looked off all day, but you think he might put it together for a drive just to score a touchdown maybe, and throws another pick and ends up costing him the game. It's just.
And I'll tell you something about that play. That was also I made that a premium play. That's how much I liked it. It was probably my favorite play of the week.
Yeah, I love that pick.
And it was the only premium play that I lost. So. Yeah, it was very frustrating. That was a very, very frustrating game. Just because Kyler Murray he did things that he hadn't done the whole game.
Right.
So
yeah, and then you also had the Ravens -3.5. We already talked about that. Never has losing a bet made me so happy as seeing the Chiefs return to their dominant form.
I agree.
The Super Bowl, they went from maybe AFC contenders in one game. They went from maybe AFC contenders to the Super Bowl favorites again, of course. For me,
yeah, and that I also ended up making that a premium play as well. I really like the Ravens. The Chiefs had showed nothing. They're still missing Rashard Breeland. I thought the guys missing in the defensive backfield were going to make none of it mattered. None of it mattered. Not one thing.
Nope. I think the Ravens got their 100 yards rushing or whatever, but if you don't pass for 100 yards, you're not going to win.
They averaged 7.5 yards a carry, and they inexplicably stopped running the ball.
Well, they got down. They got down big. Got down early.
You know what? They still had time to run the ball. When you're averaging 7.5 yards a carry, that's like if you're averaging 7.5 yards an attempt, which is a nice mark in the NFL. It's the same thing. Right. Run the ball.
Yeah. So
stop it, and for God's sakes, get Mahomes off the field. Right. There's an idea.
Which is what running the ball does. It's the one thing you do well. Your team is built to beat Mahomes, and you abandon the game plan that's always so successful against them.
God, people were really holding out hope that Bam Adebayo was going to play.
Oh, is he hurt?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's got a neck, and Dragic is out too.
Gotcha.
That series is what do you call it?
Over.
Over is what that is.
So of course, I had a 2 and 3 week.
By the way, I was making bets there. I wouldn't really just be checking my phone. I was making bets. And I can no longer do it online since my computer crashed today. I have none of my stuff preloaded, so none of my sites will come up. I have to play with that later. But.
Yeah, we've scrambled a bit here a bit. So we'll do the power rankings and stuff, but you'll be seeing them pretty much for the first time whenever we go through it.
Oh, by the way, I lost all my power rankings, so good time. No, I got my Google Docs back. Okay, so I should be able to have my power rankings.
Oh, because you can see mine, right? Or you have your own power rankings?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, any good handicapper is going to do their own power rankings.
Fair enough. I didn't know. I've shared my power rankings. I've never seen your power rankings.
I probably don't do them as sophisticatedly as you do. In fact, I'm sure I don't. I do them a little more sophisticatedly from college basketball, but that becomes just a full-time job.
Yeah.
So, I keep power rankings for the major conferences. I don't go as I'm not Danny Sagarin. I'm not going to do that. But
right.
No, that was a great pass. It was 5 yards out of bounds. Okay, so
So we won't get into the power rankings.
It's my Friday night. It's my Friday night buddies. The Campbell Camels are playing.
We'll recap. So you went 1-4 last week. That ended up being minus 340 because I'm trying to think how that math worked out. Yes, because you went 4-1. So when you bet all 4 bets that you lost, you were betting minus 110.
No, the Rams was a money line bet.
Oh, you're right. How about that?
So that's going to be minus 430 plus 100, so minus 330 on the week.
I think they were three. I think they're yeah plus 3. What did we say?
They were like plus 106, plus 108, something like that.
Right, minus 330, not minus 340. Let me correct that in your seasons as well. Okay, all right. So you had a minus 330 week because you bet 5 games total. 4 of those games were minus 110. But let's talk about your losses. Sorry, I'm making it harder than it needs to be. You of your 4 losses, 3 of them were minus 110. That gets us to 330. You also bet the Rams money line, which was just 100. But
yes, 100 to win, 108, 106, whatever we had that at. Yeah.
Right. So you were 540 all in or 530 all in.
Yep.
You lost, or you won 1, which means that you didn't lose them. No, so you're 540 all in. You won 1, which means that you get your 110 back and you get your 100 back, so you're up to 330. That was the hardest way to explain that as possible. What else would you expect from this show?
I hope people are watching the show going, well, give me some tips on how to figure out how I did, because that ain't it.
Give me some math tips.
Next week we're going to cover ROI, so tune in for that as Truman Snubblefucks his way through ROI.
So we're on to so you had a minus 330 week. You added that to your all-time total, but you're still plus money. You're still plus 250 at 9-6. Oh, through 4 weeks, which and
honestly, Truman, no, that's if you keep that up, you're the best handicapper in the world. If you can handicap NFL at 60%, you'll never be broke.
No.
So that's a fine mark. Am I upset about going 1-4? Of course.
Right.
Did we get screwed on the Ram game? Am I over Macho Grande? Not yet. But shout out to Airplane. But anyway. I'm right where I want to be. I'm at 60%. I'm 9-6. That's right, real.
You're averaging a 3-2 week every week. Not bad.
Right.
That's a win.
Right.
And of course, I went 2-3 last week. I hit on a money line that was plus 140. So I'm at minus. I had a minus 90 week. Again, not exactly where you want to be, but I'm not losing big. I haven't had a blowout bad week. And I expect the spreadsheet to kind of hone in, and we're getting closer as we go, and I'm feeling better. I spit out 6 or 7 picks, and I loved almost every one of them this week. In previous weeks they spit out the picks, and I go, well, is that really what it came to? And then I'm like, well, okay. And honestly, a lot of times it's those picks that I go, do I really love that pick? And then that pick almost always hits the one that I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And then, of course, that one wins. And I go, well, okay. And then the one that I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes a ton of sense. That one always loses. So, but we're minus 90 last week. That brings my season total to minus 330 at 6-9. Nice. And then keep my head above water. We're right where I've got you right where I want you. I'm 550 down, but we're a week away. As obviously, as if I would have gone positive, I could have gained, up to 400, 500 on you this week. So, but.
Well, you sound like every gambler in the sports book.
I'm due, baby. I'm due. Come on, I haven't lost big yet. I'm due. By the way, anybody watching, anybody who's ever thought they were due, you're never due. Every gambling thing is in a vacuum. You didn't loosen that slot machine up by losing a bunch. You're not. Just because you lost a bunch of NFL bets doesn't mean you're about to hit. Let's just get that clear.
Just because you haven't seen 12 in a while on the dice doesn't mean it's coming.
Doesn't mean, absolutely not. You still have the same odds to roll a 12 every time you throw the dice.
Every single time. The dice have no memory, much like an old guy.
Or a football player. Sorry.
Ooh.
Sorry. That's just coming from someone who doesn't have a great memory from playing football. So
that's terrific. Oh, that's great news.
Terrific. Hey, take some gambling picks from me. All right, let's talk about this week's power rankings now. We throw these labels back up, and so we've got a few interesting changes this week. We've got a new top team this week. Of course, we've been kind of seeing the Steelers up top for a lot of this. Hold on. And actually, the Steelers are up top still. Give me just a second. That is the wrong. Oh, great. All right. Hold on.
Are you sharing your screen with me?
I think I am. I don't know what's going on here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been
I could see everything before, and now I can see nothing.
Interesting.
All right. Anyway, you'll just have to describe your power rankings to me.
It's all right because I just deleted the wrong thing. I deleted my background. So give me just a second to get reset up here.
Well done. Smooth.
Yes. Thank you. Sorry. Okay, we're back. I need to move power rankings back up top. Sorry, I have to reorganize my power rankings here. Just to it takes a second, but I was gonna talk about how there's a new team at the top, and then I realized that wasn't the team that should be at the top. When I took that picture, something was off. So
it's not the Dolphins?
No, not this week. Sorry, everybody. I'll have to hold out just a little bit longer. I believe I actually had it ranked by my strength of schedule rankings, which puts the Rams at the top as the top team in the league. And they're not the top team in the league, but they're not far away from they're not as far.
I wouldn't think so.
They're not as far away from the top as you'd think they would be.
No, I just did my NFL show with my partner Scott Reichel over at Winners and Wonders YouTube channel, and I said that I didn't think New England was a top 5 team in the NFL. He said, "Well, who's better?" And I named 6 teams. So, and he agreed with every one of them. So, yeah, I get that.
Do be that way sometimes.
The Rams was one of them. That was going to be my whole point. The Rams was one of the teams I thought was better than the Patriots.
And I would have Hazard to agree with you. I would Hazard to agree with you.
No.
Have to agree with you. Hazard
Yes.
Always
a good rule of thumb. You have to agree with me anyway. But yes.
Well, okay. All right. I don't have to agree with you. That's why we do the show. That's why we do this. All right. We're finally set up here. So we're taking a look at it. We've got Pittsburgh again is still at the top, which is still very interesting to me. Pittsburgh it has the Pittsburgh Steelers as the top team in the league. It's had them at the top for a while, and the Ravens were closing in on them a little bit in the previous weeks, and then the Ravens lost. Now they're down, maybe even out of the bottom 10. No, they're at number 10 actually. Looking at it, Kansas City. A big jump. I think they went from number 10 or 11 last week up to number 5. They've returned. They had a great offensive day, great defensive day. Forced a few fumbles.
I'm sure they'll be able to sleep again now that they found that out.
Yes, of course. Worst teams.
The worst sleepless nights, Big Red.
Right, of course.
Truman's top 5.
The worst 2 teams in the in my power rankings, of course, always meeting on Thursday night. The Jets and the Denver Broncos. Man, that was a lose-lose game last night, huh? That was just awful to watch.
Well, it was a win-lose for me. I had the over, and I had the Jets. My God, I didn't know the Jets were just going to just take out a gun and shoot themselves in the head.
It's hard to believe that Adam Gase still has a job today. A lot of people were reporting that he might be out after that game, but he still woke up the head coach of the Jets today.
Still breathing.
Woke up feeling dangerous, I guess.
Man, that was ugly. That was you pick off a quarterback 3 times, you expect to win. In fact, I think it was the first time that they'd intercept a team had thrown 3 interceptions in many years. So
really,
yeah, at least maybe by double digits.
Oh, that had a winning team had thrown 3 interceptions and won by.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, didn't Nate Peterman throw 6 like a few years ago, like 2 years ago?
They did not win. I did a big deal about how terrible I thought Rippon was, and for the first 3 quarters, first two and a half quarters, he looked okay. He really can't make the big throws. He did make one nice downfield throw.
Right.
Made another terrible downfield throw that should have been intercepted. My God, that was just brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Watching. Desir should have had 3 interceptions last night, but
yeah. Didn't he throw a pick 6 late as well?
I kept waiting for it. I go, he's going to do it. He's going to do his thing. He doesn't have any arm strength. He's going to get beat on the out, and that's exactly what happened. But it still didn't matter because it's the Jets. Jesus Christ, what a terrible team!
What a terrible team. Yeah. So we've got Pittsburgh up top again. It's starting to form into about where you think it is. The Colts are still really high and odd. for a team that's 2-1 and lost to the Jags. But honestly, that Jags loss isn't as bad as you think it is, and they've performed very well. They get to face an undefeated Chicago Bears team this week, and I think that's a tasty little matchup. I believe I've got on the slate here in a bit. I think the Bears are extremely overrated, and that shows as well as they're near the bottom 10 of teams in the league on this power rankings, and I think that feels about right. They're right in there with Las Vegas and Miami, and 1 point under Jacksonville, and a few points over Detroit. I think that feels perfectly fine for where the Bears are.
Got a new quarterback, man.
Yeah,
Your little fancy computer system doesn't know nothing about new quarterbacks.
it's true. You think Nick Foles is going to be able to take it to the Colts this week?
Oh no, I think he's going to do better than Mitch Trubisky.
Well, anybody. Well, except for maybe. Oh God, I've already forgot his name. Who's the Denver quarterback?
The fine young fellow is Brett Rippon from the Boise State Broncos.
Brett Rippon. Never, not gonna be the starting quarterback.
No, he's got all the Mountain West records, so he's got that going for him.
Well, and I'm sure he's tall. He's got to be tall, right? Elway loves him tall.
Yeah, I think he's got the pro size. So, but who doesn't have pro size is Drew Lock. Although Drew Lock's pretty tall. I guess he's taller than you because he played basketball. Is he 6'4"?
He's 6'3", 6'4". He's.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking he was like 6'2", but he is taller than that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no, he's built like an Elway quarterback for sure. Just like Joe Flacco, another great Elway quarterback.
See, it started 20 quarterbacks since 2013. Did you see that graphic last night?
I know they've started 9 in the last 3 years or something like that.
I think they've started 20 different quarterbacks in the last 7 years.
Jesus.
That's brutal. That reminds you of the Damon Huard, Tyler Thigpen era for the Chiefs, where they just...
But even then, they were rotating like 5 quarterbacks. They were just all terrible, and you saw too much of each one of them, and it made it feel like there's 20 quarterbacks, but there's still only 5 or 6.
Yeah, they'd each get a half a season to suck.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you'd watch them, and then somebody would get, and then they'd get hurt, and then the Chiefs fans would cheer as they got carted off the field, which was just a dark time for the Kansas City Chiefs. Hey, but we're out of that. We don't think about the late 2000s, early 2010 Chiefs anymore. We're Super Bowl winners now. So, but yeah, so that's my power rankings for the week. No big surprises here. The Saints continue to fall, which I feel is correct. Tampa Bay is right there in the middle of the pack. It's about where I like Tampa Bay. Other teams outperforming their record. Really, nobody. I mean, it's really starting to come into focus here. Chicago's the team that's really outperforming where they are. But they've had 3 games that they probably should have lost. Should have lost that Detroit game. The Giants was knocking on the door there, and another epic collapse by the Falcons gives Chicago another win. So, also another guy that I don't know how he woke up with a job this week. Dan Quinn.
Who's that?
Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn's got to be pretty close to the.
I don't know how he woke up this season with a job, but.
Yeah,
I think I'm looking at the team. I'm looking at the you've got a couple of overrated 3-0 teams in Tennessee. Some would argue the Bills haven't been tested. I think the Bears certainly they're not on the same level as the Packers. Seahawks have no defense. Good luck. I mean, that is a hell of an offense, and Russell Wilson's having an epic start to the season. But my goodness, that is a dreadful defense. Terrible.
Yes, absolutely awful.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
I ain't your little friend Owen. I got shit to do.
All right.
I can't just yak on whatever the hell we're on. What are we on? Sling or Switchblade? What the fuck is it? What is this?
Was it? Well, you're on Messenger, so
What's the format? What is it?
The cool one I use is Discord.
No.
You're talking OBS?
No, of course not.
Twitch. Yeah.
Twitch.
Oh, come on. Right. Come on. You got to reach out to the younger audience, right?
Yeah, I know. I understand.
All right. You want me to go first or you to go first? I can't remember who went first last week.
I think losers walk, Truman. So I'll go first.
All righty.
Isn't that the way it goes when you're playing football?
Yep, losers. Oh yeah,
You
no,
walk.
you're going down there to receive the kickoff, which is always a throw off. Nobody actually kicks it off anymore.
Truman, I don't want to say that I move lines, but even me just texting you what I'm going to play moves lines before I even get anywhere in public and talk about it. Those lines move. It's been an incredible feat, really. It has. I literally think every one of these lines have moved since I sent them to you.
Yeah, I even had your old Lions line in, which is your first pick of the first pick that we're discussing because you do it on where it shows up on the rotation sheet. So you've got Lions, which when you sent it to me was +4.5, which has
Right.
since that time has moved down to +3.
Well, yeah, Janoris Jenkins was ruled out. So I understand that. They don't have Lattimore. They don't have Jenkins at the safety. I'm not really sure who's going to stop any of the Lions receivers.
Yeah, and I believe.
But I am going to lead off with the Lions, Truman. And this is a strategy that I really like to play. I like to overvalue teams that beat teams the week before that weren't quite as good as I thought they were. So the Lions fit that mold because they beat the Arizona Cardinals, who I had overrated. But now I'm going to go ahead and jump on the Lions bandwagon and overrate them.
Nice, perfect. So they will of course inevitably fail.
In all fairness, I like the fact this is a different Lions team with Kenny Golladay back.
It's true.
Because the Lions still struggle to run the ball. They have 78-year-old Adrian Peterson in the backfield still, but the Golladay gives them an ability to stretch the field and makes them respect the run a little bit more. And I like this matchup between the Lions and a decimated Saints defensive backfield that honestly wasn't that good to start with. Drew Brees still can't throw the ball down the field, and that is I don't think he's going to be able to take advantage of the Lions defensive backfield, which is not their strong point. Although he does get Michael Thomas back, and that certainly makes a difference. But I just I haven't seen enough out of Brees to make me think he's still got the zip on the ball, and for that reason, Lions are playing at home. Give me the silver and blue, Truman.
Silver and blue. I don't hate that pick either. The Saints just are very good. They don't look very good. Honestly, I mean, I can't think of an aspect of their game that I love. Is Michael Thomas back will help a bit. Kamara looks good as always, but man, they just. I think you're right. I think Drew Brees' arms look shot. And people will say, "Well, look how well he threw for him." But he got propped up by a few Alvin Kamara yak.
It's all about Kamara's yak, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. No question about it.
Oh, same with Michael Thomas. He's the king of the 3-yard slant and making
he's
something happen.
He's still last in the NFL on yards per target, and I don't think any of that. I don't think that's an accident.
Right, of course.
And when he throws, he's doing something with his. I don't know if he's doing something where he's not able to step through the ball because everything's going high.
Mm-hmm.
And he is going to get his receivers killed. And he's always thrown the ball high because Thomas could high point the ball really well. But he's gotten in the habit of everything he throws further than 10 yards is high. And you are not going to get any steak dinners from your receivers doing that kind of shit.
No, of course not. And, I like that pick. I thought, I know this is a versus show. We normally try to have a little bit of a back and forth here, but I'm very low on the Saints right now. And
I call it like I do. If you happen to have a week where you're making his picks as well as I am, then I'll give you props.
Right. So my first pick of the week is actually the Niners -7. They get to go there and face that Philadelphia Eagles team another team that we are both very low on. They get to face that Philadelphia Eagles team. Carson Wentz looks not great. Doug Peterson looks like he doesn't know how to fix Carson Wentz right now, and I think the 49ers are set to get a few key pieces back this week, right?
They get Kittle back, and of course the Eagles are going to be without. They're going to be without Alshon Jeffers, and in a surprising development, Deshaun Jackson is injured again. So.
Shocker! I'm shocked.
I did not see that coming. They dream about having somebody as good as 78-year-old Adrian Peterson in their backfield. Sanders hasn't been able to get untracked at all. Uh, Boston Scott is obviously is terrible because I picked him up on my fantasy team, so he's
Nice.
Boston Scott. Is that right?
What?
Is that Boston Scott? Is that his name?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to make sure it wasn't the first guy killed in the Revolutionary War. That was a black guy, and his name was Boston something else.
The shot heard around the world.
No, that was at Lexington Concord. But anyway.
All right. All right.
No, this was in the streets of New York. Anyway.
Well, that's why we're here for sports betting and not history lessons.
Right,
Boston Scott, probably not the guy who got shot in the Revolutionary War, but it certainly could have been.
Well, he runs like it.
But yeah, so I've got the 49ers -7 there. Not a terrible pick. I had him as big as a 10-point line. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this pick.
Okay, I wasn't even close on that. Christmas Addicts.
Another ridiculous name, to be fair.
Was the first guy? Well, he's not a running back. He was the first guy killed in the Revolutionary War.
All right. Well, fair enough. All right. Stop talking about your Revolutionary War fatalities. Let's talk about.
He was killed in the Boston Massacre. That's why I got it confused. So.
Okay. Let's talk about your second pick. I got it as Jacksonville, Cincinnati at the over, and I believe we had it as 49, and even as again another one as we discussed it, moved to
down to 49.5,
up to 49.5, which is a fairly significant half point there.
Well, it certainly could work out that way. Yes, I agree. It's these teams. I don't know that there's two worse defenses in the NFL than these two teams. They're beyond awful. And while I'm not thrilled with either one of the offenses, one thing Cincinnati will do is they'll keep throwing the ball. They will keep. They're going to get their money. Apparently, they paid Joe Burrow a lot of money, and they figure it's less money if they pay him by the pass. So
yeah, they're getting their money's worth for sure.
They're going to make him throw 50, 60 times. He threw 61 times in that Cleveland game.
Jesus.
This is a situation. And by the way, for our newbies, I know we got some newbies out there. If you're looking at totals, you always want to look for the teams that are going to throw the ball. You're going to run the ball. If you want to play unders, you're looking for teams that run the ball a lot. Why is that? Well, because clock doesn't stop when you run the ball. And anymore in the NFL, it doesn't even stop when you run out of bounds. It stops momentarily, just like college, and then they restart the clock as soon as the ball is made ready for play. So, say all that to say this: two teams that are going to throw the ball a lot, two defenses that cannot stop the pass at all. Gardner Minshew gets DJ Chark back this week, and that's his favorite target. And that's an appetizing total for me, 49.5. I don't really care. I'm taking the over. I think that goes comfortably over.
Yeah, no, I'm right there. I'm right there with you. I have.
And I think all 6 people that watch this game are going to enjoy it.
Yeah, it should be a fun shootout to momentarily check in on Red Zone 4. My second pick of the week, and it's the team that I just keep on loving come back, and we discussed it a little bit earlier. I've got the Indianapolis Colts -3. I've got that at -110. I believe that is the current line. I'll always like to double check as we're here. Actually, I've got it down to 103. Oh, and I've got it listed at 103 on my. Man, I'm better. I'm ahead of myself at this point. Yeah, I love the Colts here. I think the Chicago Bears are just pretty overrated. I don't love them. I think they feel a lot like the 2013 Chiefs. Remember that Chiefs team that started 9-0 because they just keep on playing bad teams. They played them all close. Played
with their second, third string quarterbacks, and
just kept on just dancing right through. Felt like a team of destiny to go to not the team of destiny that goes to the Super Bowl and goes to does well in the playoffs, but it felt like that team of destiny that was gonna at least go 9-0 to get absolutely hammered by the Broncos in that Week 10 matchup where I think the Broncos were 8-1. Everybody's like, well, who's the best team in the AFC West? And then everybody asked that question, and then everybody's like, ha ha ha, we're just kidding. We know it's the Broncos because the Broncos looked so much better that year. And everybody knew the Chiefs were just kind of dancing through their little charade they were doing there.
They were the great pretenders, Truman.
Yes, 100%, absolutely pretenders. And
are you worried about the fact that this line has plunged from the Bears as a 1-point favorite and totally gone through 0, and now the Colts they actually went to 3, and there's a little bit of buyback on the Bears once it got to 3. It's now sitting at 2.5.
Is it back down? Is it back down 2.5? I had it at 3.
Well, I'm looking at scores and odds. I don't have my actual gambling sites because I don't have the login information yet.
But I've also got the scores and odds up, and I've got it at -3. I don't know why it's showing us different things here.
That is very strange because I show current price. Let me refresh, although it usually does it automatically. Yeah, no, I've got it at -2.5, -110.
Very odd. I also just refreshed. I've got -3, -103. Interesting.
Okay, that's extreme.
What?
That's extremely strange, Truman.
Yes, and I guess it does. I would say it doesn't matter, but it kind of does matter a little bit in the grand scheme of things.
Oh yeah,
2.5.
You fight for every point. Don't ever make the mistake, ladies and gentlemen, of saying it doesn't matter. Okay, on my official, I've got it bet online at -2.5, -120. So that's a line that's in an actual sports book. So I'm going to call that -2.5.
All right. Well, I'll move it to -2.5, -120. We'll hope. Now I got to hope it cashes. While I get that extra half point, I'll feel good if it's at 3. But if they end up losing, I'll feel worse.
I have no feel for either one of those teams. That's you. Go ahead and knock yourself out.
No, I think the Colts are one of the very quiet teams of the year that I think is actually, while they are 2-1, everybody kind of forgot about them early because they lost that Jags game. But I think that defense is one of the top in the league. And Phillip Rivers is, he's no spring chicken, and he's not going to win any MVP awards. He's getting it. He did what he always did in LA, always made him competitive, always kept him in the game. We'll throw heartbreaking interceptions like we saw in the Jacksonville game, but it's not. But it won't happen every week, and I think the Colts are bound to blow this Chicago team, give them a little bit of a wake up call. I love it a little less just because of the quarterback changes. You never know what kind of effects that's going to have on a team, and maybe the Bears show up, maybe they don't show up. That's the issue about quarterback, is you never know if that quarterback's really going to be better or worse. And while we do expect him to be a little bit better than Mitchell Trubisky, which is probably we saw a little bit of a buyback, but I just who knows. But
losing Tariq Cohen really hurts too.
Yeah.
It hurts him with depth in the offensive backfield, and it hurts him in the return game a lot.
And another shot where it looked like a kind of a dirty hit. We saw it in the Dallas game with the tackle on Chris Carson where the defensive lineman gator rolled, and it looked kind of like another dirty hit there on oh wow, I've lost his name. Tariq Cohen for.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the refs didn't do the Jets any favors last night. Obviously they were terrible. I mean, I'm not talking about they deserved every one of those pass interference. Maybe in personal fouls. Maybe the first one was a little sketchy, but to not call it when he suplexed Sam Darnold into the ground and landed on his shoulder and his head and not call roughing the passer there, that was ridiculous. Just absolute. Well, he still had the ball, so it would have been a personal foul. But that's just insanity.
Right.
That wasn't called. Did you see that play?
I did not, but we've discussed it. I think in our personal conversations that the NFL flags are down this year, and there's also been a point of emphasis to reduce holding calls, especially on the offense this year, as we've seen. And they're kind of going back to the old school ref kind of thinking, unless it's egregious and actually affects the play, you don't call it. Where, like, if it's a left side run and your right tackle holds the defensive end, it doesn't. They're not going to call it this year because penalties are for things that do affect the play. And if you're holding the right side defensive end on a pitch left, it probably doesn't matter. And so I don't hate that, but I don't hate that they don't make these calls. But it is a part of the game, and allegedly there's been a stronger emphasis on calling less penalties this season because the NFL in previous seasons had been slowed down by a lot of penalties.
A lot of games last year were almost virtually unwatchable.
Right.
You're getting into the low 20s as far as total penalties go. Nobody wants to watch that.
And it feels like we've seen less pass interference calls and a little more offensive pass interference. It feels like this year. So it's just very interesting. I'm interested to see how this develops over the season.
Yeah, it ain't the Sean Hockley show.
No, it's not. But all that to say that I think the Colts got a great shot this weekend.
Great.
Let's look at your third pick here. Keep the show moving. I've got you at the Ravens -13.5 at -118, which means it's getting set to move to one -14. Actually,
lock it up now is what he's saying.
Yeah,
lock it up now.
And
this is a situation where I hate to lay big numbers in the NFL, and I really hate to lay them on the road. And having said that, I'm going to do exactly that. I this Washington team, they're not good, and to me it all comes down to Dwayne Haskins. I think with a competent offense, I think their defense would be recognized as one of the best in the NFL. They've got a terrific pass rush. A little weak in the defensive backfield, but they're on the field so much, and I am just not a Dwayne Haskins fan. He's got Terry McLaurin. He's got a couple of weapons, but nothing that gets me excited at all. So I'm going to. I think this is going to be the Ravens that are angry. I think they've heard all week about how they're overrated, how Lamar Jackson isn't any good, how the defense is terrible,
Yeah.
and I think all of those elements are going to show up on Sunday and just take care of their buddies there on the Beltway. They don't have to travel for this game. They can sleep in their own beds, and they go to they'll probably sleep in obviously a hotel the night before the game. But there's no flight, there's no travel involved,
Right. Yeah, it's basically
Their wife dropped them off at the Westin the night before the game, so.
Right. Yeah. It's certainly an interesting one, and of course the Lamar Jackson Ravens. You never need to give them a bigger chip on their shoulder. They love a good chip on their shoulder, and they love to be told they're not good, and they've probably have received plenty of it this week. And sometimes players like to say they don't hear or they don't watch what's going on in the media, but. I'm sure they hear it, and I'm sure they hear about what's going on, what's being said about Lamar Jackson and them right now. So I don't hate that pick. I agree with you. We're kind of the narrative. It certainly seems like the Ravens might come out here and stomp them into the ground just to send a message.
And Lamar Jackson, pretty good running back. Well, not really. 97 yards, so no, about like a running back.
Right. Well, and Dwayne Haskins is the worst quarterback in the league by the QBR rating that ESPN does, and by a lot of other ratings as well. He's not performing very well. It makes you wonder that maybe if Alex Smith was a little healthier, where this Washington team would be. But obviously, he's been inactive every week. So
it's what Haskins' junior year. It would have been his junior year in college.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't expect him to be very good. He came out after his freshman year, and guess what? He's not. So hard to believe Dan Snyder made a stupid pick, but there you go.
Oh, what?
So
what?
Give me the Ravens. Give me the Ravens in a kind of a weird revenge spot. They have no revenge against this team. They have revenge against
the narrative.
Whoever the next team is. Yes, revenge on the narrative. So
right. This is a taking out your frustrations kind of game.
Give me the Blackbirds minus 13.5.
All right. My next pick for my third pick is the Carolina Panthers money line. Actually, this is a very interesting pick. I've got it. Let me double check it as we do. As I had to double check a few of these this week. Yep, still plus 148 for me.
What do you have that on?
Scores and odds.
I've got it at plus 142.
All right. I'll take your word for it.
That's very funny. No, you can have it at 148. That's fine.
I don't know.
It's going to be I don't love that pick at all. But
no, you don't love that pick. Yeah, again against the Cardinals team that just did not look very very good. I don't love the Carolina Panthers exactly, but I don't hate them in this spot. I've got it favored by about 2.5, which means that they're just a little bit better than the Arizona Cardinals are on my board. But again, you never know with those West Coast teams having to go over to the East Coast. It seems to be a little minimized this year because of everything going on with Corona. But again, another the Arizona team that just did not look amazing last week, and Carolina looks fine. They also don't look great. I'm not here to praise Carolina. Again, I do as the spreadsheet says, and I don't have to love every pick, but I do try to trust the math and be transparent here. And and it came out with the Panthers money line, and at the end of the day, I can certainly see it. I certainly don't hate the pick, especially, and again, with the West Coast going over to East Coast is one of those things that the spreadsheet doesn't take into account, but is something that in the past it's sometimes a miss, sometimes not, depends on the team, but I just don't hate this pick. And obviously you just told me that you did hate this. You got any big reasons why?
I think the Arizona Cardinals. I don't like this defense for Carolina at all. I think they've got some issues. Teddy Bridgewater's throwing the ball all around. I'm not sure how that's going to work out against what had been a pretty good Arizona defense. This is going to be we're going to learn a lot about Arizona this week, and we're going to find out whether I'm right or whether the Arizona Cardinals are going to be just another 500 team. So this will tell us a lot about this game. Truman, and I've got a piece of information just kind of thrown in there about how sports betting works. I saw this morning that the Jets are currently 750 to 1 to win the Super Bowl. So that means if you bet $100 on the Jets,
to win the Super Bowl,
you will lose $100.
Yeah, I did. I saw that.
Did you see that?
Yeah. Yeah, I love. That's very funny to see.
That made me chuckle.
Yeah. So my third pick there is the Carolina Panthers. I'm not over the moon about it, but I do as the spreadsheet says, and so here we are. So moving on to your fourth pick here. You've got Rams minus 13 and I've got Rams minus 13 at minus 120 for you.
You always introduce my picks like it's a misprint. I see here you've got the Rams at 13.5. Is that?
Well, I had the Rams at 13, and apparently it has moved to 13.5 since the time that I've had it. So, ironically, that was a misprint. So,
is there a smudge on the computer? Yeah, I think the Rams. I think the Rams may be the best team in the NFC. And
wow, very interesting.
Yeah, I do. I think. Well, you know what they have that Seattle doesn't have. They have defense.
Yeah.
And Jared Goff looks reinvented. I like the way this offense is operating. They finally got rid of the albatross around their neck to try to they don't have to make Todd Gurley look like he's actually a NFL running back anymore. So I like the way this offense is working, and I really like the way this defense is working. This is a team this Giants team is just not good. They're missing a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball, and I just don't know where the stops are going to come from here against this high-powered Rams offense. I also see Aaron Donald living in the backfield. I think Daniel Jones is going to just write him down for his usual 2 turnovers. Could be more than that. I think this is going to be a one-sided affair. This is a team that was manhandled by a shorthanded San Francisco 49ers team last week, and I think the Rams are much better than the Niners at this point. I think the Rams do the same exact thing in a home game.
Yeah, and I don't hate that. I don't hate that pick either. I think I've got one that matches it here later on. Let me double check and see if we can just round these together. Yes, actually, for my fourth pick as well, I also have the Rams minus 13.5, and I'm right there with you. I don't know if I'm as high on the Rams as you are. I'm not sure I'm ready to call them the best team in the NFC. I believe the Seahawks look very good, and yes, they do have a defense. I know, and the same goes for the Packers. But Aaron Rodgers, but both of those offenses have two things that have things that the Rams don't, and that's an MVP candidate quarterback. That's a top 5 in the league quarterback. That's the Green Bay and Seattle has. But I do think the Rams do look very good, and I think that's also a testament to the Bills. And I think I've got a Bills pick here later for you too. But I think the Bills, while you think they might be a little overrated, I think the Bills are going to contend there in the AFC. I don't think they're ready to make that run yet. But I think last week said as much about the Bills as it did about the Rams. I think the Rams are contenders there in the NFC, and I think it's I'm holding out. The issue with all those NFC contenders is none of them are playing each other. I need them to play each other at some point here.
Right.
Except the Seahawks and the Rams aren't going to get to play the Packers because the 49ers won the division last year. So that's great. But yeah, I would love. I'm with you where I normally don't love these huge lines, but it says something when the spreadsheet does get on a Rams line like that. So yeah, so I do love. I like the Rams here minus 13.5 with you. Yeah.
By the way, Daniel Jones quarterback rating right now is 69.2. That's not QBR. That's old school rating. That is second lowest in the NFL, ahead of only Carson Wentz. Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, has been Danny about $1.50 so far. So. Not a fan of this Giants team. No Saquon Barkley, and it's Just not. It's going to go bad to worse for the Giants.
Yeah, I could believe that. Yeah, I'm with you there. I don't love. Yeah, this is not a good Giants team. And that New Meadowlands turf just keeps on eating everybody up. I heard there was another terrible injury last night.
Yeah, there was a receiver for the Jets, I believe. Just totally stuck his foot and I don't just twisted ankle, knee. I don't know what it ended up being, but yeah, it was brutal.
Ugh.
Just terrible turf.
Ugh, hate to see it.
Like you're playing in an actual meadow.
Right. So sorry, Siri took off. Whoa, that was weird.
All right.
So moving on to your fifth and final pick here. Again, we covered both of our fourth picks were the Rams minus 13.5, and you've actually got Kansas City Chiefs at -7. And I had that at minus 109 as well, and that is where it still sits currently.
Yeah, I'm awful chalky this week, and I don't love that. Another good rule of betting on sports is if you go through your card and you're taking all favorites, you're probably a pretty shitty sports bettor. So you got to pick those dogs, and that's part of the reason that I went through and picked the Lions. I was looking for live dogs. There weren't a lot this week. There really weren't. I know you like the Colts are now the favorite, of course, but yeah, I like the Chiefs. I like the Chiefs in this spot. I think this is a team that is humming. Yeah, it's Parcells and blah blah blah, but our buddy that we're on our text chain sent out the stats today about Pat Mahomes against the Ravens, 65 of 107, 931 yards, 8 TDs, 3 picks, 94 points. That's 3 games.
Right.
That ain't exactly Parcells shutting him down.
Belichick?
Or Belichick with Parcells. Yeah, sorry, Belichick. God.
I was like, what?
It's been a long time since Parcells coached anyway.
Coached any team well, at least.
So, I'm back on the Chiefs bandwagon. I took a week off. And I do worry about a slight overreaction on my part with the Kansas City Chiefs, but you remember how good this team is, and I really like the way this team plays. They've got Mike Pennell back in that tremendous run stopper. This team looked great, man. Everybody did their job on defense. I was most impressed with the defensive effort. I really was. They absolutely shut down and befuddled Baltimore. They tried so many different things, and none of it worked. They tried so many different things on offense. They tried so many different things on defense. None of it worked.
Yeah.
Give me the Chiefs to roll up the Pats here.
Yeah, and I don't hate that pick either. Obviously, but the Chiefs did lose their leading interception leader, and L'Jarius Sneed, the rookie cornerback. He broke his collarbone. He'll be out 6 to 8 weeks there. So that'll be a big hurt, but you do get Breland back in a week, and that probably recompletes your team, and that's and if Charvarius Ward can go, that's a huge plus for them as opposed to any of the alternatives. That's the best cornerback on the team, I believe.
Well, Ward played last week, so
right, but only in an emergency role. He played once L'Jarius Sneed went out. He wasn't going to play, and then he had to go in there.
And he dropped the sure interception because he had a cast.
Because he's got one hand. Yeah, but. But I like that Chiefs pick. It'll be very interesting. There is that myth about Belichick that there's some narrative going around that he can stop the Chiefs, which just isn't true. We talked about it again in that text thread. The two times that he beat the Chiefs scored 37 and 40. So it's just not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
He beat a Bob Sutton defense.
Yeah, right.
He's never beat a Steve Spagnuolo defense with the Chiefs.
No, and he hasn't, and he doesn't know how to contain Mahomes like some people have to believe.
The Chiefs. Oh my God, Jesus. No wonder the guy's playing for Campbell. I got down. One of my sites didn't have this game, and I'm so pissed because I thought Wake Forest was going to roll up the Camels, and that's exactly what's happening.
Oh.
So
I'm a big fan of the Camels.
Yeah, they did. Well, you know what? They performed well against Coastal Carolina. They've covered every game so far, but I thought they were a little out of their depth with this Wake Forest team, and they certainly are.
Right.
38-7 now. It's not going to get any better. So.
Well, let's wrap this up here with my 5th pick. To let you get back to watching those Campbell Camels play.
Okay.
To wrap up my picks for the week, I've actually got Buffalo minus 3.5 at minus 108 this week. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, and they look great this year. And the spreadsheet's got them here, and I love it over a Raiders team that I think has been a little overrated as we've gone. I'm honestly surprised to see that the Bills are favored by this much, just because. But I think a lot of people are kind of down on the Raiders after they pretty much got blown out of the water last week by New England, and I could have used them holding on for one more week to get blown out of the water by the Bills. But yeah, I like the Bills here, minus 3.5. Josh Allen's playing like a legitimate fringe MVP candidate. He'd be in my top 5 right now, I'd have to say. I think you got Russ, Mahomes, Rodgers, and I think you'd be foolish not to include Allen in those talks. Because we don't talk about position players ever, because that's just not how it works anymore. Certainly
the season that he's having so far, no question about it.
Right, and I think the Bills look great. I love this. Again, there was a lot of picks this week from the spreadsheet. There's some picks that I don't always love. I liked a lot of these picks this week. I also had the Pittsburgh minus 2, but of course that got ruined. Thanks, Titans. I believe the Titans had more players test positive today.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Pittsburgh is going to be I like this team. They're kind of a cover machine. They're always going to be underrated. And yeah, I like that Pittsburgh team. They're going to make that game up in week 7, I guess.
Yeah.
I haven't seen exactly how that's going to work. Are they really going to have a week where they play like a Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday game or something like that?
The Ravens get a weird bye week or something about it. It involves the Ravens, and that was a big part of it, is that this was going to shuffle a lot of games around for teams that are contenders. It's going to shuffle the Titans, Steelers, and Ravens around a bit.
I spent my afternoon cussing at my computer, so I really didn't have time to delve deep. I saw the headline come across the Cryon, but
right, and it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that affects it, and how because those are like I said, those are 3 contenders. And if it just happened to work out that those teams get to play each other, but I don't know how many more do-overs you get.
Right, I agree. By the way, I've got an update on the New Orleans situation. Michael Thomas will not play this week. He's been ruled out again. Jared Cook is not going to play. Their tight end. Their other 2 tight ends are out. They have 1 tight end. They have Adam Troutman is the only tight end they have on their roster right now, and left guard, probably the best offensive lineman on their line is Anders Pete, and he's not going to play as well.
So you're telling me now is get the Detroit Lions now?
It wouldn't be a bad play. Of course, on defense they're missing their right end Davenport, and then like I said before, they're missing Janoris Jenkins and Marshawn Lattimore. This is going to be I don't know. I hope the Lions are able to take advantage of it, because you're never going to find a better week to play the Saints than this week.
I think any week's a good week to play the Saints this week. I think they're a little over. I think they're kind of dead in the water right now, and nobody knows it. The NFC South, I think, looks very bad. But
yeah,
Jameis is sitting there quarterback and waiting right now.
He's with the Saints. That's right. Yeah.
Or they pay $20 to Taysom Hill or whatever he does for getting coffee for Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Picking up the dry cleaning.
Yeah, I think Sean Payton just likes to fuck with him and get him like almost hurt. So it's 3rd and 1. We're gonna run you right into the line. How's that? Oh, perfect. That'd be great.
Can do, coach.
Where do I sign up for that? Let's do that.
Yeah.
So he's a gamer.
Whatever. So. He's whatever for sure. All right, Scott, it's been good. Those are the 5 picks for the week. I've got 49ers minus 7, Colts minus 2.5, Panthers money line, Rams minus 13.5, and the Bills minus 3.5. Of course, you have the Lions plus 3, Jacksonville, Cincinnati over 49.5, Ravens minus 13.5, Rams minus 13.5, and the Chiefs minus 7.
My prediction is one of those hooks is going to get me.
Really? You think one of those?
I got I got 3 prime numbers with hooks.
Yeah.
One of them is going to bury me. That's my prediction.
You could have you've set yourself up for a heartbreaking week this week. You've got one
No question
plus
about
3,
it.
you've got one -7, and the other 3 are all hooks. You could
Yeah.
you could have the Ravens and Rams win by 13, Jacksonville, Cincinnati score 49, and the Lions and the Chiefs both push.
Yes, that's certainly a possibility.
I do not have that, and I don't. And I mean, well, 13.5 isn't as much of a hook as it is. You know, it ain't 14.5 per se, or 7.5. It's not. You know, but it's a hook for sure.
Yes, agreed.
All
right, my friend.
I've
Well,
got the Bills minus 3.5. I'm also set up for heartbreak. I don't love this week. Too much
It
heartbreak.
should be.
right?
I don't really love this week. There's a lot of tough games, a lot of weird big spreads, a lot of teams where we really haven't learned enough about them yet. So
Right.
we'll see how all that goes.
And because that Pittsburgh game getting moved, I think I lost my favorite pick of the week, which was Steelers -2. I think I love that pick when it went off the board. Oh, what could have been. But yeah,
I got you.
as always, I'm interested to see what happens. And as always, I appreciate you joining me, Scott. Of
Of course, absolutely, bud.
as we do, you want to give a few shout outs here for where we can find
Of
you
course.
at.
Free plug, of course. Don't forget to check out winnersandwhiners.com. It is the premier, it is the #1 site in the world for predictive sports analysis. You will find nothing like it. You will find nothing like the depth of information that has been delivered, and the amount of information available. Basically, deep dives on every game, North American sports every single day. Check that out. Check me out as I do my free play of the day each and every day on my on our Winners and Whiners YouTube channel, and that's the same place you can catch my partner Scott Reichel and I doing our show every morning. We record it every morning. It drops early afternoon. Today in sports betting, where we basically run down the full boards of all the major sports. So we take a look at that. And of course, if you like what I'm doing, you want to get some more picks, I do have a premium service that's available over there at winnersandwhiners.com. Just click on the premium tab, get signed up for my free plays or my premium service. So
Awesome.
there you go, bud.
Great. You too could bet on the Campbell Camels on a
I
Friday
do not.
night.
Yeah, I was going to fade them tonight, but
Well,
yeah. And I will tell you this. I do have a big play on BYU in the actual college game here. It's just get ready to fire up. So.
Gotcha. And of course, I've been Truman Steehn, Steehn Machine, found on Twitch, Twitter, and the Steehn Machine Network on YouTube now. As these get posted to the YouTubes on Saturday mornings to afternoons to get you just in time to maybe check it out right before the NFL weekend starts.
There you go.
Of course, tell Mom I love her.
Of course I will. Don't forget to you don't forget to like and subscribe to the kids' channel. If you're watching it on YouTube, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Click that little box. Hit the bell. You get notified each time a new video goes up. That way you won't miss a thing.
Right, especially if you stuck around through the full hour and you're at this point in the. You might as well like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you're already here. You already you already spent an hour of your time.
Don't lie. You fuckers fast forwarded to the end. We know you did.
I mean, I set the channel. I set the chapters so you can get through it if you want. I do the chapters so you can skip.
Okay.
I'm reasonable.
All right. Good enough.
But all right, Scott. Thanks for joining me. Have a good night.
Yep. Have a great week, buddy.
Yep.
See you next week.
Yeah. Best of luck this weekend. Hope you're heading back to the window. Cash those tickets.
Same to you, man. We'll see you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.